Gojo is back, but he has stitches on his head. At the end of chapter 260, we were all guessing that either Gojo had come back or Sukuna had become delusional. Some people even said it was the work of Kenjaku. Well, we were all wrong because it was actually Yuta's doing. Yes, let me explain. Chapter 261 starts right where Yuji thrust his hand into Sukuna's body, planning to crush his heart. At that moment, Sukuna sees Gojo, who had stitches on his head. Don't worry, it's not Kenjaku's work, but someone else's, which I will explain. As soon as Sukuna sees this, he says, "Sorry, I underestimated you, Yuta Okutsu." Yes, Yuta has taken over Gojo's body using the Kenjaku technique. The story then goes into flashbacks. Yuta had fed Kenjaku's body to Rika so that when the time came, he could use the Kenjaku curse technique. Maki was against this, but Hakari insisted that they would do it if necessary, ensuring it was done only when no one else was left. Kusakabe suggested to Yuta that he should directly copy Limitless, but Shoko pointed out that Limitless couldn't be used without 6 eyes. And Shoko explained that 6 eyes is a physical property. It's not a curse technique. Yes, 6 eyes cannot be copied. Either you are born with it or you don't have it. Now the question was, Yuta can only copy a technique for 5 minutes. So what will happen to Yuta after 5 minutes? Yuta himself had no idea what would happen if he took Gojo's body. At this point, Meimei explains the pros and cons to us. If Kenjaku's technique is constant, meaning Yuta cannot return to his original body, then after 5 minutes, Yuta will be dead because he can only maintain his technique for 5 minutes. Now, suppose Kenjaku's technique is not constant but intermittent. In that case, Yuta will still die, but not immediately, only after some time. If the curse technique is single, then Yuta will be able to use Limitless even after 5 minutes, and there is also a chance that Yuta will stay in Gojo Sensei's body permanently by discarding his curse technique. In short, anything can happen, and nobody has a clue. It's just like the answer could be A, B, C, or D. Now, Yuta says that he will use this as a last resort. First, he will fight Sukuna, open his domain, etc. If he still loses and is about to die, only then will he take Gojo's body. The plan is good, but somewhat inhuman, isn't it? Says Kusakabe. Yuta says that while fighting Sukuna, they will have to forget humanity and friends, otherwise they won't be able to win. At the end, they are fighting against the strongest sorcerer in history. Everyone was concerned for Yuta, but Yuta says that when Gojo Sensei is no longer in this world, someone will have to become a monster to fight a monster like Sukuna, and that monster will be him. When Gojo was alive, Yuta had told Gojo that if he dies by chance, he will take his body, and Gojo Sensei was like, as he always is, "When I'm dead, why does it matter to me? Do whatever you want with my body." Yuta and Gojo also talked about how they are descendants of the Fujiwara or Sugawara clan and distant relatives. Gojo Sensei says that Yuta was born in better circumstances than him, and even if that wasn't the case, Yuta should know how to take advantage of an opportunity. Otherwise, he's a fool. Then Gojo Sensei adds that, "Yuta, your cursed energy is very sloppy, and I've told you this many times. Pay attention to this." Afterward, Gojo Sensei tells all the students to leave because what he was about to do was very bloody and brutal. In fact, he wasn't even sure if what he was doing was right. According to Gojo, if he is killed, many old sorcerers will also be killed, and the old Gakuganji will be at the top. If that happens, there won't be an incident like post-Shibuya. Gojo again tells his students to leave, but they don't go. Yuta says, "Sensei, don't become a monster alone." But Gojo says he needs to catch up because he's been left behind. The scene then switches back to the flashback where we see Yuji's friend, Amai. Amai explains his curse technique where he amplifies the sugar inside his body to produce some output. In this situation, Shoko includes Amai and Arata Nita in her medical team so that they can use sugar to help the brain function better. Again, the scene switches, and we see Yuta in the medical room. Yuta had been cut in half while fighting Sukuna and was immediately brought to the medical room. Rata Nita uses his curse technique to stop Yuta's wound from getting more serious, meaning he stops it where it is. But still, it was difficult for Yuta to survive. Yuta says that he's conscious only because of Rika. Otherwise, he would have reached his limit. Shoko explains that she has stitched Gojo's dead body. This was necessary for the body change to be complete. So now you understand how Yuta came into Gojo's body, because now we return to the present fight. In the present, Gojo, or rather, Yuta inside Gojo, and Sukuna are facing each other, and both open their domains. Remember friends, before dying, Gojo showed everyone how he could counter Sukuna's barrierless domain. This means Yuta knows how to counter it. Yes, at the end of the chapter, one side opens Malevolent Shrine and the other side opens Unlimited Void. The editor's comment was the revenge match begins. So friends, you can see that there's a lot of conversation in the middle of this chapter that isn't very clear or important. But what's important in this chapter is that Yuta has come into Gojo's body using the Kenjaku curse technique, and now he will use all of Gojo's powers. We just don't know the effect this will have on Yuta. Can he sustain it for more than 5 minutes? We don't know. That will be revealed later. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and share the video. And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.